Hi everyone, I'm Attorney Poonam Minhas. I practice U.S. immigration law all over the United States. Today I wanted to talk about the policy memorandum USCIS released on August 15, 2025, which talks about the good moral character standard evaluation for those applicants who are applying for citizenship. So stay tuned as I try to break down what it means. And of course, I do have the link in the description section so you can always review it after today's topic. So what's the best way to describe this policy memorandum? So the way I did it was absence of wrongdoing, okay, which was what was happening before for citizenship applications versus a holistic approach that USCIS is taking. So let's break that down. What does that mean? So we knew that, all right, you have no criminal matter and you got the green card the right way. Everything is good. You pay your taxes. You don't owe any money to the IRS. We are now going to assume, okay, there's an absence of any wrongdoing. That's good moral character. You meet the good moral character requirements. All right, cool. This person is eligible for citizenship. Let's approve them. But now, according to this policy memorandum, things are different. USCIS is looking at everything. So before, if it was absence of wrongdoing, it was assumed that, okay, this person has good moral character. But now, what do they want to look at? So I have a list. They want to look at behavior, right? What type of behavior you have, and whether your character is in line with the standards of the average law-abiding person in your community. Okay. They want to look at positive contributions such as, do you have stable and lawful employment? Do you provide for your family? Do you give them care? They want to see your education. They want to see the length of time you spent in the United States as a lawful permanent resident. They want to see that you're complying with tax obligations. They want to see if you follow the law. So yes, I do think initially where people were like, oh, it's just a traffic violation and it's whatever and it's not a big deal. They are looking at tickets. There are some officers who are looking at traffic violations. They're looking at the number of tickets a person has and trying to incorporate that into good moral character. I've seen it recently. I had a handful of people come to me for a consultation regarding their tickets. Some of them are open, some of them are closed, and some of them have like a big amount of traffic tickets. And then USCIS is saying, well, you're a habitual traffic offender. All right, I've heard of habitual drunkard, but they're saying on paper in their denial, you're a habitual traffic offender. So I've seen it happen, and now there's a memorandum to back that up. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. They did give greater scrutiny to things like permanent bars to good moral character and conditional bars to good moral character. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I do explain the criminal conviction part within the statutory period. And that one was actually categorized into the conditional bars to good moral character. So do check that out if you haven't. I do have the link in the description section. So after you watch this video, you can go check that one out to learn about that. They also want to see that, are you inconsistent with like your civic responsibility within the community? What does that mean? Okay, that's just a lot of words that they're spitting on paper. What does that mean? They want to see if you're reckless, that if you have a pattern of doing bad things, and if you've have a pattern of getting all these traffic violations or, even other things. They obviously, when you think of automatic bar to citizenship or automatic bar to good moral character, you're really looking at oh my God, what kind of criminal matter does this person have and what are the convictions? Is it murder? Is it something a lot more serious that, oh my God, this person doesn't qualify to become a citizen? But then if you look at conditional bars, now things change, but now they're saying that USCIS is going to be looking at this a lot more closer and they're going to scrutinize this heavily. Okay. Another thing that they are going to scrutinize or may scrutinize is going to be child support payments. Things like, do you have money owed to the IRS, and, whether you've complied with your probation, whether you have complied with other conditions provided to you in writing by the judge or instructions by the judge. They want to really see everything. And these things are mentioned in that policy memorandum. And I'm just reading a couple of things that I thought was important to share with you. So do check it out, do review it. And yes, now this does apply to future cases where someone is filing for citizenship and they're like, oh, well, I am a good person. How do I prove that? And that's where you need to evaluate your case with an experienced immigration attorney to come up with evidence and see, okay, how can I prove to USCIS that I am a good person and that I meet the requirements for good moral character? Now, like I said before, if you have certain things that are more complicated, you might want to sit down with someone to have that checked out before filing for citizenship. So, like I've said before, there are things that have been scrutinized in the past, like obviously automatic bar to good moral character, conditional bars to good moral character. They're looking at convictions within the statutory period, whether it falls under the 3-year rule or the 5-year rule. Plus, they're looking at traffic tickets. They're looking at infractions. They're looking at pretty much everything. This is now backed up by the policy memorandum that was released by USCIS on August 15, 2025. So there's also a case law where I've come across several times whenever doing a consultation for someone who filed for citizenship themselves, end up getting a denial, and they're comparing someone to like a habitual drunkard, or as I said, like they have used there's case law to back up and show what the person should be doing to show that they are a person of good moral character versus, showing that they're not, and what activities that they do or what type of behavior they have to show that they don't meet that standard. But now with this policy that came out, they're pretty much addressing what they're going to be looking at, and they can use their discretion. USCIS can use their discretion to try to deny an applicant based on a reasoning saying, well, you don't meet the standard, so therefore you don't deserve the citizenship. And just remember a couple of things. When you are about to file for citizenship, and when I say you have to evaluate your case and really think about what issues could pop up, and if there are issues, how can you overcome it? Do you have the evidence and the proof to back it up to show things that oppose what could potentially come up in front of you and could prove that you are a good person, or could prove that you are someone that does meet the requirements for citizenship and therefore you should be approved and get ready for your oath? What is it? So that is obviously dependent on each person's personal circumstances, and each case is always unique. I always say this, no case is the same. There could be similar facts, there could be similar background information, but no case is the same. I've always dealt with cases that are unique. There could be something you find in a case could make or break your case. So it could be anything. But I do encourage all of you to check out the policy memorandum, go through it. And if you are filing for citizenship by yourself, do read the instructions. There's a whole instruction packet that USCIS has on their website, along with the application. And I know a lot of people like to file their cases online, but I would still recommend that you read the instructions if you are filing pro se, and really sit down and think about, could you face any potential red flags? And if yes, how are you going to tackle them if it comes up? That's it. I mean, I pretty much tried to cover what they're really looking at. You have the link in the description section to check out. Please review it. And, before you file anything, if you need to consult with an attorney, do so. I highly, highly recommend it. Again, thank you so much for watching today's topic. If you have any questions that are personal, please contact our firm and schedule a consultation. General questions are always welcomed in the comments section. Hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on anything I post, like today, an update, a new policy update. And yeah, come back, keep watching, and like and share, because you never know who this might help. So thank you again. and I will see you soon.